Hey, 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 everybody. Great day, great day. It's a great dawning of expectations of greatness. I am Dr. Marianne, and I'm back today, the Chat Diva, here to have some conscious, honest, authentic talks with you today. And I just want to come on today, and we're going to be having a multiplicity of topics, but the most importantly on this Friday, I want to make sure that um, we talk about some changes, right? So I have my numerology report, which I always do in the fall. Um, and my person was telling me that October is the time by which people, whatever you do in October, that October was a 1 month. It was like a new beginnings. And so you kind of use this time to get prepared for 2023. So I'm listening to him, and he's going through my whole numerology chart and telling me all the things that are coming and things that are leaving, right? Some things that are leaving. And what happened is that I began to think about, okay, so if this is October, and October is about us starting new and setting the trend for what we're going to take forward in the next year, like how do we address this? How do we begin to really utilize this? More importantly, I was talking about myself, but now I'm bringing it to my family, and I'm saying, how do we do this, y'all? And it took me back to a conversation I had back in August, like late August, when it hit me about the harvesting and the canning and things like that that we did as a child with my family, that we would go and harvest the crops, and my mother and I and my sisters and my aunties, we would all, canned tomatoes, canned vegetables. We would do pear preserves. We would do grape jelly, strawberry jelly. We would put up strawberries. We put up blackberries. We would do all these things, harvest and then put them away. The beans, the greens, everything. And I thought about, well, why did they do that? They did that because they knew there would be a time when we would need to be able to have the very thing we were taking advantage of in the summer, right? We were taking advantage of being able to go out into the fields and pick up things and eat them, go get the cassavas and, the yams and things like that, and eat and just have a good time. But when the weather shifted, because now we're in a place that was 4 seasons, when the snow was here, when we're trying to, or if we're going to kill a cow and we're going to cut it up and we're going to, cut it up and they're going to put it in the freezer, or we're going to kill some chickens. Well, chickens we kind of let go all the time, but y'all get my point. Welcome, and thank you for being here with me. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm African. I appreciate it. So I started thinking about, okay, so that relates back to that message that I got about harvesting and storing up for a future time. So then I get my numerology done, divination done, and he tells me that October is the month that people should be enacting and releasing things. And then I go and I get my astrology person come talk to me about these Pisces moon and about this new moon that's coming on the 9th of October, and how it's all about letting go and setting up things. So I found a common theme here, and I want to talk about it. And that is, what are you doing right now to prepare for the future? Now, when I talk to my people, to my clients, and I'm having these conversations, I always say your future is your next second. Your next breath is the future. Your next blink is the future. So with that being said, what are we doing right now that we can begin to plan and harvest? What can we begin to store up? What can we begin to implement now, plan for, collect the resources for, so we can have something better in the future? I know for me, I'm ready for some changes. This year, I've been telling y'all that this year is all about getting stuff done. If you playing games with yourself, you probably got a lot of resistance. All that long period of retrograde, which is about going back, looking at yourself, figuring out what you got to do, how you're going to do it. Exes coming back, old situations, old debt popping up that you thought was gone, but it popped back up. Maybe some friendships you had to revisit, a relationship. All of that stuff was meant for a reason. It's to clear the space. It's to clear the space. It's to get ready for something better that's coming your way. And so often we've been taught to hold on to stuff. Be patient, hold on to it. It might be some good. But I remember that when we used to harvest from the fields, that we only took the good stuff. The things that were kind of damaged, we ate them up right away, or we fed them to the animals. So why do we think that our lives are any different, that we should treat people any differently? Why do we believe that when people are in our lives, or situations and events happen in our lives, that we should let it have a permanent place in our lives? Why is that? When something is damaged, when something is traumatic, when something is toxic, welcome to the room and thank you for being here. You know, when something is toxic, when something is non-beneficial, something is non-producing, it's rotten, right? Why are we keeping it and holding on to it like it's a prize and then letting the parts until we begin to rot and decay as well? You see, yeah, I'm thinking about those messages that kept coming to me and those divinations that were done that gave me the insight about my future, right? Because my future began the moment that I took a blink, the moment that I took the next breath. Many of us are sitting here and we're thinking to ourselves, oh, I got time. No, we really don't have time, because time is your second greatest asset. You are your best and greatest asset and your first asset, and your time is your second. So if we're not utilizing ourselves and our time, and we are letting things stay around us and we're trying to harvest and store up and hold on to in permanency, the pain, the trauma, the disrespect, the dishonor, the disloyalty. If we're holding on to that like that's our truth, like that's really who we are, that's what we want to take forward into the future. Oh, I'm just going to hold on to it because it's been 5 years, 2 years, 6 months. Oh, I'm going to hold on to it. Thank you so much. I'm going to hold on to it because everybody expects it to be, or I was told that this was the right person. You know, a person is who they are the moment you meet them. That moment you have that first moment of recognizing that person, that event, that experience, that job, that circumstance, that condition is not benefiting you. That's when you have to say, oops, cut it off, throw that part away, keep the rest, and keep going. And that might just be the memories. That might just be the experience, but not the person, not the relationship, not the job, not the contract, not the house, not the neighborhood, not the trip. Pause on that for a second. Those of you that come in, I respect you and thank you for coming in. I am the Chat Diva, conscious, honest, authentic talks from a divinely inspired voice of ascension, aka Dr. Marian Sister Rafua of Azon Life Alchemy Center. We're having some conversations today in my reflective mode on this Freedom Friday, because I want us to focus on the idea of what are we holding on to and why are we holding on to it? What are we harvesting from our lives in this last 10 months or 9 months? And what are we storing up in these next 3 months and processing in order to have in our future? And this is all rooted in the foundational conversation I have with my astrologist, my numerologist, and my experience in my business and doing what I do and recognizing the power of transformation and alchemy. Because I am an alchemist, right? Alchemy just means you're transforming things, transforming something from one thing into another. And preferably it should be the thing that you want. Right? So how then do you take something that is rotten, something that is non-productive, something that is hindering you, that is poisoning you, that is trapping you, that is hurting you, that is harming you, that is dishonoring you. Thank you, Afrocentric. That is preventing you from moving forward, that is holding you back, retarding your growth and your ascension. How then do you take that thing and you harvest it? You notice it, you notice what it's worth, and you see what it's doing and what it is, and then you start canning and storing it up for your future? Because that's just what it is. It's just a moment. You can, right? No, in alchemy, we have 3 phases and we have 7 stages. And in alchemy, what we do is we say that first stage requires fire, uses the natural elements. We're using fire. We're burning up stuff. We're getting rid of anything that we don't want because we're getting to the purest essence. And if being in that fire and noticing that this thing is poison, this person, this event, this memory is preventing you, is harming you, and you put it into the fire, it's supposed to go away. Some of that stuff should go away. If it doesn't go away, when you wash it off with water, then it's not what you want. You repeat the process. But that doesn't mean you keep holding on. It means that you recognize that this thing may not be capable of being burnt off. Oh man, that's kind of deep. Maybe I'm getting too abstract for some of y'all. I can be that way sometimes because this is what I do. This is my life. This is how I live. This is how I experience life. Once I realized that I was the gatekeeper to my life and my experiences and my choices and my relationships on every level of my life, that I was responsible for my prosperity, my abundance, my wealth, that I was responsible for my optimal physical health, that I was responsible for my mental acuity, that I was responsible for my spiritual activation and awareness, that I was responsible for how I share out my knowledge, my skills, my talents, my abilities, and leverage it in such a way that it benefits me in a holistic way. That I am responsible for how my emotions excel me or restrain me. Once I realized that, the rest was easy. Welcome to the space. The rest was easy. But we have to buy into that. We have to trust and believe it like we trust and believe our name is our name. What are you harvesting? What can you harvest from the last 9 months that you need to store up, maintain, and keep to take into your future? What is it that you need to discard from the harvest? Because it's rotten, it's unright. It didn't produce properly. It's weighing you down, it's making you sick, it's hindering you. You got headaches, you got stomach aches, you are gaining weight, you're losing weight, you're stressed out. Your money is not able to expand and grow. What is it? What is it do you need to discard? Who is it that you need to discard? And not with the vindictiveness inside of you, but with the knowing that it is no longer necessary to be a part of you and your ascension process. So it served its purpose. It taught you a lesson. It served its purpose. It exposed you to new knowledge. It served its purpose. It gave you a great memory. Now let it go. Let it go. I don't really like roller coasters, but I like to go to carnivals and get on rides. But it's not something I want to experience every day. It's not something I want to experience every day. When I'm in Ghana, we went to Cancun Park and we had to walk around these man-made bridges that take you up into the treetops. It's very high up in the sky. I think this is something like 17 or 18, stories high. Yeah, I had a great time. I wasn't afraid, but I don't want to keep doing that all the time or jumping off the top of the waterfalls. That's not something I want to do every day and take a chance. I don't want to skydive every day, but it was an enjoyable experience and it taught me a lot. I love doing a lot of things, but just because I enjoyed it doesn't mean I have to keep it, especially if it's not bringing me more joy, especially if it's distracting me from my greater purpose, calling, and extension. Ooh-wee. Welcome to the room, y'all. Welcome to the room. I am the Chat Diva, Dr. Marian Sister Fu of Azon Life Alchemy Center. Just having a conversation, trying to get us to think about what are we holding on to? Because I'm telling you, that numerology report got me to thinking if October is the new beginning, is the month, it's a one. And this year's a 6. And we're supposed to be in action. We're supposed to be planning and doing what we got to do. I started saying, oh my goodness, what am I keeping? What am I doing? What am I trying to create? What am I allowing to come into the spaces? What? I need to let go of some people, places, things, and ideas. And that's part of alchemy. That's part of transformation. That's part of evolvement. That's part of your conscious evolution. That's part of your power to the people. I'm a God. If you a God, what you sitting amongst those things for? What you keep letting somebody not treat you as a God if you a God? If you a queen, why you keep letting the peasants run your life instead of you running their life? If you a king, why you letting the peasants run your life instead of you run your life? And if you're a king or a queen, you don't have to force people to know your power, because your power is when you walk into the presence and they see who you are and you have no need to express it or extend it. I got a sister friend that always teases me. She says we had never met in person. We always spoke on the phone. She had seen me on videos, right? And so she said, She said, I knew you were powerful, da 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 da. Then when you spoke and you had, a presence, I could tell you were beautiful, da 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 da. She said, but girl, when you walked in that space and you just commanded the space. And I said, I didn't do it on purpose, but I'm assured with confidence that I'm supposed to be here. You got to get assured you're supposed to be here. You're not, your existence is not predicated upon someone accepting your ability to be here. It was already decided. That's why you're here. The person who said, I'm not a God, that's your reality. And you can hold it. And I don't fault you for it. But there are people who trust and believe that they are an extension of God. And therefore they can call themselves God. But if that's not your reality, continued success, peace, and blessings and evolution for you. No harm, no foul, no judgment. See, I don't get into all that conformity shit because that's not how life is. Real life is not about conformity. Real life is about expansion and alignment and growth and impact. That's what it's about. And it begins and ends with you first. Anything you have planned for your loved ones, for your children, for your legacy, if you ain't doing it, it ain't going to happen for them. Point blank, period. Because we've been conditioned to believe that everything is external, but it all begins and ends within you. Within your mind, within your heart, within your soul, within your spirit, within your beliefs. That's why I'm asking today. It hit me. I'm like, okay, so I've been getting the message since July, August. What are you holding on to? What are you creating? What are you spinning? What are you capturing? What are you producing? What are you going to store up? What are you going to harvest? What are you going to share out? Okay? This is the existence by which people keep getting caught up. When you keep seeing yourself in a pattern, it's because you're not taking the time, like doing a retrograde, when things start coming up or coming back up in your life and you just say, oh, well, that was then. Yeah, that was then, but why is it repeating itself? I always get the rough end in relationships. I always get the rough end in money. I always have a problem with my health. Everybody in my family got this disorder. But when you going to say enough is enough? When you begin to say, no, that ain't coming in my life. That's not going to impact my life or my children's lives or my spouse's lives or my community lives. Not anymore. I'm taking a stand here and I'm going to do something different. And I'm going to be choicey. I'm going to be choosy. I'm going to choose what I want to be and what I want to experience. When are we going to say that? Welcome to the room, everybody. I'm doing well, beloved. Thank you for being here. So glad you're here. When do you take on the position of knowing who and what you are and your alignment? See, I tell people when I taught about the other about the different realms, and I said there's 2 levels to the physical realm, and some people are stuck in the lowest physical realm, and that's why when you start evolving and you start moving, people get upset with you because they didn't even know there was another realm. And then when you start functioning from the higher realms of spirituality and the galactic realm and the archetypal realm for your archetype, then people like, what? Wait, you crazy? Something wrong with you? You're eccentric. Oh, that's poppycock. When you start talking about the alchemy and the relationship between food and nature and how it impacts your life and how you need to be engaged in those 2 ways and using those things as your tools to give you vitality, to give you longevity, to give you what you desire. Now you see people having these huge conferences, charging all this money. They're writing all these books. The most recent thing that that kind of tripped me out was that I grew up eating okra, and even in on my maternal side is Ghanaian, and I remember growing up okra, sun, okra, sun, okra, sun. When we going through rites of passage, and I understood then that okra is a good thing. It's life, it's vitality. But now they got all these okra peels and okra drinks, and now they got it in kombucha. Now they got a tea that's an okra tea, and now it's the greatest crave. Same thing with our collard greens. Same thing with our beets. You see, we were harvesting those things and we were utilizing those things to keep us into a level of ascension and growth. And then we begin to integrate and think that we were rising up in our physical plane while we were declining in our ancestral, our spiritual, and our galactic plane. Now somebody else has reversed the roles and they're taking over. And we're stuck. We're stuck. They vilify anything and tell you not to honor your ancestors. That's what I'm saying. I'm really going through this process because that made me think about some things, because I am letting go of some people. And I am letting go of some places. And I'm denying some access to some people and places and ideas and beliefs that are hindering me from realigning myself with that which is truly who I am. And anything that tries to structure me in a way to make me be under the authority of something that has the same amount of power that I have, I don't want to be bothered. You see, I remember I talked to my uncle in Senegal. He's a Marabout. And he was telling me some things. And he was like, well, I told you when you were a child that you had to be different. I wonder, now I understand why, even though I'm a girl, why I was raised the way I was raised. Because he said he knew who I was. Your true identity, your true, what do you need to X out, transform, and or release in this month so that you can go forward and begin to plan and harvest? You may need to X out some things that you've been holding on to, beliefs, conversations, associations, locations, identities, because they're false and they're preventing you from having the full level of ascension that you desire for your life. Hey, listen to me. People are going to come around when they see you ascending. They're going to come around when they see you ascending. And they're going to start asking you how and why are you able to do these things. Like I said about the okra. Like I said about the greens. Like they talk about the turmeric and the garlic. When they talk about the ginger. All these things that we grew up with, now all of a sudden they're delicacies and they're the new phase. Close the door. Right? That's how we begin to analyze your life. As my numerologist said, when he did the divination, he said, listen, this is blah, 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 blah. And yada, yada, yada. And he told me. And then I started thinking back. I just talked about harvesting the crops and why our family stored up things for the winter months. Why we had to get rid of it. Why if there was a sick cow, you killed it right away because you didn't want it to infect the other cows. Right? Right? Why, and why? Okay? So keep that in mind and understand that when you are evolving, you are going to have to change and evolve and expand because that's what nature does. Nothing in nature ever stays the same. Even when we don't have 4 seasons, we still watch the trees grow from seed and they grow up and the leaves fall down and they reproduce and they keep going. 90% of my garden that I have is because I reseeded the seeds from the things that I ate. I have African yams growing in my yard here in America. And people go, what? Wait, how did you do that? I said, because I wasn't going to pay $9.99 a pound for a yam. But when you get in tune, when you begin in nature, you can begin to experience so much more in your life. You begin to get the keys unlocked from your sacred soul script. The ancestors will whisper in your ear. The angelic forces will be around your ears and your eyes, and you'll begin to see, know, and understand the true identity of who you are. That you are one and the same and there is no distinction, and that you have to begin to understand that when you are harvesting the best crop. And you are harvesting and you are saving those seeds to have the best crops next year. That is what you are doing. You are not going to engage in things that prevent you from having the highest return on your time and investment. I'm just saying. Your true identity, absolutely. The true path, absolutely. It is what it is. These conversations are not for everyone. So people who are not are willing to hear this frequency are not going to tap into the conscious, honest, authentic talks from a divinely inspired voice of ascension. They're not. They're not going to want to be in the room with the life harmony alchemist, because when they hear these words, it stings something inside their body that says you should be listening, but yet their ego takes over and says, oh, that's too much. It's going to make me too different. It's going to put me outside of the community that is giving me comfort. I often imagine and personify one of my favorite things in nature is that story of butterflies. Everybody loves a butterfly, but they forget that that butterfly was once a caterpillar. A ugly, multi-leveled, fat little plushy little thing inching across a branch to get to the end of a branch to make a chrysalis. And I often say that at something, even though this thing was pulling it into this, they didn't understand what was going on. And they had to ignore some things, and they had to deny themselves some opportunities. They had to forget about, the other caterpillars possibly. They had to leave their families behind. But yet this internal thing was calling them to this branch to make this journey. And when they're making this journey and they're forming this crystal, I'm just like, oh my goodness, how is this able to come out? How is this able to come out of my body, out of my mouth? How am I able to spin this? How? In what way am I able to spin this? In what way am I able to have this life? In what way am I able to examine myself in such a way that I would know that it's okay? It's okay for me to keep going. And so they're spinning this chrysalis around itself, and it's saying, oh, I've never felt so tight. I can't imagine. I can just feel myself shrinking. Something is happening here. And then they form this chrysalis and they are in darkness. And I often personify and imagine that this caterpillar in the beginning stages is waiting for something to happen and not sure what's going to happen. And then at some point, some of their legs begin to retract into their body. And some of that plumpness begins to go away. And the hairiness, the hair begins to disappear, and they become elongated, and they feel some burning possibly in the back, and that's their wings beginning to form. And they begin to notice these antennas coming out, no longer short little feelers. And I begin to say, but I'm still in the dark. I can't see what's happening. I'm not sure what is going to be a part of my life. Is my life ending? I'm in such excruciating pain. There's so many changes. There's nobody here that looks familiar. There's nothing here that I used to eat. There's nothing I used to see. But yet they stay inside. And then after some time, those long legs and those new antennae begin to tap away at that chrysalis, and it becomes thinner, and it becomes the age, and it lets them out. And then he thinks, oh, I'm going to fall. But he takes flight and has a whole new perspective. No longer is he stuck on the ground, just dependent upon the branches to give him height. Now he creates the height. I'm telling y'all. This, if you look to nature, you will understand your true purpose, your true journey, your true calling, that thing that's calling you forward, that thing that right now, when I said, what are you going to release in October? What are you going to begin to create more of in October? What are you going to begin to speak and create in October because you want it to come with you in the next year? What do you want? What do you want to occur? Who do you want to be removed? Who do you want to be added? What do you want to be transcended or transformed or increased or decreased in your future? Ask yourself that question. And if you can ask yourself that question, you are ready for evolution. You are ready for ascension. You are ready to begin, because I'm telling you, your ancestors, your spirit, your ancestors, the angelic forces and the astral realm is going to be pulling you throughout dimensions. That unction is going to be pulling you like it did that caterpillar to continue on that branch. It's going to continue to get you to ignore and seek out the things that sound unfamiliar to your familiar people and sounds very familiar to you. And it seems resonating through your body, and you keep finding yourself, and you keep finding more people that are like you, and you find yourself in a new life that you desire. The whole time. Those dreams that you were having that you thought were weird and there was no relevance, they were nonsensical, that was your real life. Because in our dream world, we are told the things that we are afraid to see and hear in our present conscious state. Oh, I'm aware. Sometimes you got to be unaware and let your subconscious clear out so you can get the real message from your sacred soul script. Oh, y'all got me talking today. If you just coming in, I am the Chat Diva, conscious, honest, authentic talks from a divinely inspired voice of ascension. Yes, I know who I am. And I honor who I am and what the gifts I have been given. And I do not display them in plurality. And I do not allow people to come and pimp them out. And I do not allow people to come and abuse them, nor abuse me. Yes, reincarnated soul. Absolutely. Trust me. If you take your time out. Listen, I was raised in America. And some things I got from my elders, and then some things I had to experience because I'm living in America and I'm Black African American in America. And I got red hair, reddish brown hair. And I didn't get dark until I went back home to live on the continent. So I had to experience and learn. I had to grow, and I had to accept, and I had to expand. And I began to explore. And I began to say, well, why do you not want me to talk about my ancestors? And why is it wrong for me to make libation? And why can't I talk about the sun, the moon, the stars? Why can't I talk about Mama Wata? Why can't I talk about Yamil? Why can't I talk about Azurity? Why can't I talk about Babalaye? Why can't I talk about Oshe? Why? I have these questions. Why do I know this information when I see people, when I hear people? Why do I know what this person's element is if I'm supposed to keep it a secret? Why? So for me, I know what my plan is for the month of October. I know what I want to take forward in 2023 and beyond. I know how I want to impact these next 3 months. I'm inviting you to do the same. If you are pulled into this room and you're able to stay in this room, that means that the vibration that I'm sending this information out at is calling you, because that is your frequency. You are here because this is your frequency. This is your reality, a part of it at least. And it's not about me. It's not about me. It's about the little reminder that was required. So whatever part you came in this message on, this is the part that was designed specifically for you. Thank you so much. Thank you. People say, why do you say you love people? I said, because I'm love. And if I'm love, I would see the love in you regardless of how small or how grand. And therefore, I love you because I see me reflected in you. Doesn't mean I have to be in a relationship with you of any level. It just means I am recognizing that which I am inside of you and saying, hey, I love you. I see you. I recognize you. I foresee and understand existing at the same time in this present moment that we are truly divine beings crossing a path for a purpose. And it's up to us to determine what that purpose is. He says, oh, I made me my glasses. I am focused. I am favored, wanting to sleep, but my spirits asked me to just tap into you. Oh, wow. Wow. See, I agree, because I wasn't going to go live. I wasn't going to go live because I myself am going through something that I am taking care of. I have an assignment to take care of. And so I was like, I'm not going to go live. I'm going to keep myself hidden. Oh, I didn't cover my head. Then I went, oh, I didn't cover my head when I went live. Then I said, no, I'm not going to buy into that. Because all that is, all that ain't, all that will be, because I am. Some people don't like that conversation. But I accept it. Absolutely, positively, so it is. This is the kindredness that has to come back. This is the kindredness that has to return to bring back the wholeness, the oneness that is required. Hello, blessings, peace, welcome. There's a wholeness that is required right now. And it can't be based upon ego. It can't be based upon identity of a name or geographic location or biological genome. But it has to be 100% in the purest essence. As I said, as an alchemist, we want to burn away anything that prevents us from being able to fly naturally. We want to burn away everything so that out of the ashes, we rise up like a phoenix with our wings high and the colors are blowing and we are able to span our wings and begin to blow and do what needs to be done. Oh, wow. You see, there's evidence. There's evidence. Kindred is trumping. That's why when I got the word and it said, blood is thicker than water, but it's water that makes blood flow. Some of us have been trapped by this ideal of blood. Blood, 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 blood. Oh, this is my blood, so I have to. This is my blood. And your blood is killing you. Your blood is poisoning you because your blood is poisoned. But your kindred, which is water, comes and cleanses you and brings you out into a new level of existence and expansion and authority. Yes. Yes, kindredness. Before one can attain it, we will need to create boundaries in all that we do. Yes. Absolutely, positively. There's a reason why those of us that are hearing these messages, even now my ears are ringing, my feet are on fire. I got my signals that somebody in here has spiritual gifts and they have abilities because my body responds because of who I am. Right? So I can sense the people that are here. So there's a reason why we're being pulled into these conversations, into these spaces to recognize each other, to hear the vibrational frequencies of our voices. Yeah. That's it. Welcome. Good to see you again. You see, don't get caught up in this physicality of the lower physical realm. Let's begin to ascend and recapture and restore. We're missing harmony right now in this universe, at least in this physical plane called Earth, in this dimension. Okay? That's it. That's why people say, oh, you don't share your gifts on here. Why you can't do it on here? Why? Why should I be drained? Why? I know when I'm told to do what I have to do, and I do it. But I also must be a guardian, and I must be a gatekeeper. Because some people are not happy, are not willing to accept that there's a shift. And there's a change, a transformation. There's a transcendental energy that is coming through. So they attempt to block it. I've just been given an opportunity, right? Now, the person thinks that the reason why they gave me this opportunity is going to benefit them. But it is going to benefit them, but it's going to benefit so much more. And it's also going to benefit me, right? But before I was able to say yes, because I do what I do before I accept anything, I was shown what was about to happen. So I had to say yes. I had to say yes. You should learn that process. When opportunities and people come into your space, begin to truly assess and hear and see and feel if this is truly in alignment with you. When people talk about the gut, they talk about their, oh, something told me. Oh, I heard something say that to me. I felt that. That's your divinity. That's your spirit. That's the spirit telling you. You got to listen. You're being guided. But if you ignore it, I hear you. We'll connect after this. I promise. We'll connect after this. We'll connect after this. I hear you. Welcome, Jabani. So if you gotta understand those levels. Sensationalism is great. Trust me, I come from the entertainment and media world. I come from a place. I'm not unfamiliar. Yes, they're refusing to accept who they are because the world has confused them with material stuff. And guess what? But when you get in alignment, you will experience material stuff. But you will understand the value of that material stuff is only valuable because of you. It doesn't give you value. It's just like a reward. It's kind of like when you walk into a hotel and you stand at the lowest rate, and then they say, oh, we got to upgrade you to a presidential suite. And you're like, what? That's because your value, your true essence, the purest essence of who you are, that phoenix, that new transformative being can no longer accept lesser than who they are. And it's not about hierarchy like they want you to believe in this society. There is no true hierarchy that destroys other people because I'm on the top. I got to destroy you and you do. No, that's not how it works. There's a constant. Da-da-da-da. There it is. Just like the masculine and the feminine inside of us is constantly. It's like the sun rises and the moon is doing their thing and then vice versa. You need both. They're both equally powerful. And when they come together for an eclipse, for a solar or a lunar eclipse, what does science tell you? Don't look at it. It's too powerful. It could ruin the cones in your eye. That's why when you get in harmony with yourself and you get in alignment, harmony with yourself, alignment with nature and divinity, allowing your ancestors to whisper, to put your, oh, this is for somebody here. Some of y'all are focused on one facet. And that's why you're not able to have the result that you desire. Or you get a little bit of it. You got to have the total thing. Holistic harmony, alignment. You can't just focus on the ancestors. You got to focus on the Lawa, the Orisha. You got to focus on the angelic forces. You got to focus on the divine. You got to focus on divine, universe, source, whatever you need to put there. You got to focus on your inner self, your male, female, your masculine, your feminine. You got to focus on letting your spirit and your soul send you forward. You got to communicate it. You got to live it. It becomes a lifestyle. You just can't do it. You can't turn it off and on. It has to be a continuum. And that's why some of us are having challenges in relationships, because we're allowing people in low frequency vibrations to step into our space as our mates, and they're not our mates. They're for us to heal, for us to evolve, for us to show the way. Come on. Oh, I must get off this line. Let me get off this line. Let me get off this line. Your foods that you are going to ingest in your body dictate your vibrational spiritual frequency. I get a lot of people I get a lot of men that come to me and tell me about their impotence. That means they have a problem with their sexual ability, right? And I say to them, I say, okay, well, let's talk about it. Well, no, I just need some herbs to give me something something I can do so I can get it up and I can go. I said, but it's deeper than that. Let's look at what you're eating. Let's look at how you're sleeping. Let's look at your spirituality. Let's look at how you feel mentally, emotionally. How are you relating? Is there intimacy there? Do you have what's your emotional IQ? Let's look at the totality of who you are. What stressors do you have? Tell me about your environment that you're functioning in. What is your process to lead up to? I'm just saying, when women come to me for menopause, I'm like, listen, my mother didn't have no hot flashes. My aunties didn't have hot flashes. There are things you can do. It's all based upon your diet, your mind, and your spirituality. Some things you just cannot put into your body. Some things are not designed for us. But if you're in alignment and in harmony, things will come to you. Some recipes I get, I'm just like, what? Okay. And I use them and I share them out. People go, oh my God, da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. Alchemy. Transforming. Getting to the pure answers, getting to the roots, getting to the answer of why something has to exist. And creating something new. And being patient and distilling it into the greatest new level of that thing. Yep. So it is, y'all. Y'all listening to the Chat Diva, y'all. Thank y'all for being here. This was Chat Time with me on a Friday. Friday Focus. Friday Focus Friday with the Chat Diva. I know I've been gone for a while. I appreciate y'all for being patient. But I got a lot of opportunities coming up. And I've been kind of busy getting that done. As I said, I am clearing out some people, places, ideas, and beliefs this month because I don't want that going into my new future, into my next part of my future. And your future is what? What is your future, y'all? It's your next moment, your next breath, your next batting of your eye. Yeah? If we focus on that being our future, we will always have more. You're welcome. I am honored. Yes, please go and catch some sleep. Yes, it is very late where you are. You need sleep before the children awake. Let's see. We have a purpose on earth. Brainwashing, has deprived us from flowing. Yeah, it has. It has. Appreciate it. Honor. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I'm going to try to get back on tomorrow, which is Saturday, for the Saturday Sat Down and have some conversations. If you want to talk to me more, I am hosting a workshop. Almost forgot. I'm hosting a workshop. It's on my link. It should be in my link in my bio. I believe they updated the link tree link that's on there. It's called It's a Vibe. Activating your relationship alchemy. And when I talk about relationships, I just don't mean between a man and a woman, a woman and a woman, a man and a man. I'm talking about your children, your spouse, your parents, your community, your co-workers, right? Strangers. How do you activate this relationship alchemy that is transformative and elevating at the same time, that allows people to see you in your higher self, and you are getting a rewarding and reciprocating relationship out of that, even if it just lasts for a bus ride or a train ride or just a moment in the grocery store. So if you want to sign up for that course, go ahead and click in the link. If you haven't followed me, please do so. Follow me, follow me, follow me, follow me. And let's keep having some great conversations like this. And you'll learn more about me by clicking the link in the bio. Talk to y'all again soon. Take care. Life you are.